This particular session is based on a special request made by a certain group of students who asked for some objective questions that can actually be under political institution. So based on this particular book, Understanding Political Institution, which is by Dr. Kwame Asante and Dr. Isaac Bracco, uh, came up with some questions, and also some existing questions I've come to know from some of these students that we've tried to also answer them and then what present on them. So as I said, my name is Edmond Kojefosu, and then there's an email address. If you have any concerns or any comments, you can send me an email via kfosu0707 @gmail.com. And then please, I'll kindly admonish you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like and comment our videos. The subscriptions will help us to be able to do more of these particular videos and then what answer to your request and what do better. Thank you very much. Today we're looking at questions. As we continue with a question, and we start with a question. So question number one. Um, as I said earlier, this question is premise, and some of the answers you can find are from the material Understanding Political Institution. You see the page numbers that are also been listed also over here, and then the other existing literatures and materials that you can find some of these answers from. But as I said, the book that I displayed earlier gives you most answers to these particular questions. And then the first question we're going to deal with, which is demands which comes from the political elites. When the political elites also are generating their own type of demands, so the elites, the institutions, the actors themselves in government, those are referred to as what input demands. Question number two that says that demand always needs to be complemented by it always needs to be complemented by what? By support. Our support. Because if you're asking for a free education and you're not supporting government with with taxes or money, how does government do that? So demand are always going to be complemented by what? By support. So the answer you know now, which is question C. Question number three also says that conversation process under system theory takes place within the processing box. This is where you find uh, the executive, the judiciary, legislature. This is where the debate and everything goes on, the bureaucrats and all those. This is where all the deliberations about the demands that have been made and all those things goes on. And then an output what comes out. So the answer is what? Processing box. Processing box. Then question number four. Order and regulations are part of what? Order and regulations are part of what? Of output. So for a country wants to combat illegal mining. They had an existing law that allows people to mine in takes certain special licenses that allow them to mine in forest bill government exemptions that can be given by the president. So if such a law exists and government wants to combat illegal mining, they can decide to repeal that based on the demand from the people, repeal that law so that those things does not happen. So that's part of it. So we are referring to that as what as output. All the following, except one, is not a rule of the game. So the rule of the game has to do with uh, one definition also that's created by Larry Diamond, which also seeks to explain what an institution is. So in this particular definition, you find that law, or under the rules of the game, law, norms, values, and conventions are all part of it. So then the answer becomes E, none of the above, because all these are part of the rules of the game. Question number six: which theory assumes that the individual acts in a way that tends to promote his or her own interest? And then when it comes to this theory, this theory that assumes that is what the rational choice institutionalism. So this theory assumes that individuals are rational people, and then they are to promote their own what interest through an institution. So this is what the rational choice theory, which is option number what the C. Also, question number 7 that says that the Labour Party of Britain and Marais Ghana differ in terms of their so in terms of their the answer I will go with has to do with what character, in the sense that I have to explain this to the political party seeks to what capture and control state power rights, whilst interest group only seeks to what influence government policies. And then Labour, the Labour Party over here, which is a political party, aims to what win what elections from what government. And then the Arise Ghana is a pressure group in Ghana, and they aim to mobilize what protest and influence government, but not capture what power. So the key difference here is not just who makes them, as in the composition, or like how they are made up, or the who they are made up of, but what they are by nature, with like political party versus pressure group. That is why I choose to go with what the character. We have to do with the answer, the question, answer number C. Also, moving to question number 8, it says that what was the name given to the public vetting of members of the Greek Council in Athens around 594 BC? So the answer for this particular question, question number 8, has to do with what? D, dokimasia, which is in the ancient in ancient Athens around the 59 BC. That's written right here under the Solon reform. The public vetting of what the members of the council was called dokimasia. That's why. So it was the process of what examining the qualification and the conduct of public what the conduct of officials before they assume what office. Dokimasia. Then question number 9. Northern People's Party was Northern People's Party used to exist, I think, in the 60s or 70s in Ghana. So the Northern People's Party then was what? Was an ethnic party, as it used to exist in the Gold Coast. So it was an ethnic party. And then this particular question was taken because when you check the book too, it makes under ethnic parties or solidarity, you find particular uh, this particular party, MPP, the Northern People's Party, listed there, which is under within the Gold Coast what era. Question number 10 has to do with what? The question is, one of the statements below is not true about bureaucratic executive, and the answer is B. They are frequently changed. Bureaucrats are not in Ghana, in Ghanaian context. Let me place this let me place a caveat on it. In Ghanaian context, bureaucrats are not easily changed. We have a very rigid. It has a very rigid system in terms of what having to change bureaucrats. So most of the time, you realize that they are transferred. That's why there have been instances in Ghana where you realize that ministers may have gone to places they were furious with some actions, and then they still had to transfer them because it's a very rigid process in having to fire. So having to deal with our next slice on question number 11, which I really said, where is the single non-transferable vote system applied? So I just want to go straight to the answer. So it's applied in elections where many candidates contest for a limited number of seats in a multi-member constituency. So each voter casts only one vote, even though there are multiple seats are available. So the candidate with the highest vote total fills what the seat. So the correct answer over here is A. In an election where many candidates contest for a limited number of seats. Question number 12. Commissions of inquiry in Ghana have the power of what? Of a high court. So, according to the 1992 Constitution, uh, the Commission of Inquiry, which is set up under the Constitution to have the power of a high court. That's what it is. So, they can subpoena witnesses, uh, request the production of what document, and what take evidence what into oath. That's what they should have the power of a high court. Also, question number 13. Which of these countries use uh, partial elective and partial non-elective what method to select people into its second chamber? So this is the bicameral legislature. So when you're taking this, we're going to look at the answer will be C, India. So this is it. For example, let's say Jordan, Canada, and Italy have an upper house and a non-elective appointment, right? Australia, Brazil, Japan, and then Nigeria, India, and then Liberia and the US have upper house. The upper house are what? Are electives. They are elected. Brazil's, Britain, Switzerland, France, and India have the partial elective and non-partial, which is among these are among the other countries and how as it is structured. So the answer over here is just C, which is India. Question number 14, gerrymandering, which is a term I've explained under international relations. We came across this particular term. Gerrymandering refers to what the deliberate manipulation of electoral boundaries to favor a particular political party or group. So then the answer over here would be what? A D. Is the options over here says promote free and fair election. It doesn't do that. Support public policy making doesn't do that. Ensure political accountability doesn't do that. So the answer is D, which is negative to all the above. Question number 15. Ghana's parliament has, the answer is D. It has what? A 4th session in its lifespan. So as the constitution stipulates, is the parliament normally has 4 sessions, right? One per year until it is what? It is dissolved. Yeah. And then question number 16. The monetary incident of the people of Asin North constituency by the political parties in the recent by-election represents. So a by-election was conducted, it was in Ghana, at a constituency called Asin North, when a court ruled that the person was not eligible then because he was holding a dual citizenship. So the election had to be rerun. Based on this, both parties, both leading parties, the NPP and NDC, were all found guilty of having to dole out goodies or incentives to voters within that particular constituency, within that election, due to the fact that it was getting close to election year and then there were a lot of tension around it. So if you are asked if this question, it means that the answer over here in terms of system theory is that is neither a support, is neither a support or so the monetary inducement of the people of Asin North constituency. Nothing the system theory, because this has nothing to do with the system theory. The system theory does not ask for you someone to be induced or bribed. No. So question number 17. Why is one party system preferred by some states? Why is it preferred by some states? And the answer question number 17 is it promotes inter-party unity. In a party, one party states there's no upper, there's not too much bickering among these parties, so it promotes unity. Also, question number 18, where would we want to look at question number 18 says that proportional representation is not used in B, Britain and Canada. So, but for Britain and Canada, they use what the first past the post or the pluralist system, not the proportional representation. Yeah. Then looking at, so the answer is Britain and Canada, which is B. Question number 19. Which part of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana provides immunity from prosecution of certain public officials? And then the answer is transitional provision. So immunity from prosecution for certain public officials, such as the president whilst in office, and immediate for the past office, is provided under transitional provision. And also question number 20. Proportional representation exists in one of the following countries. And then the answer for this one is Norway. Norway. Thank you very much. Question number 21. It says, all the following except one is not the rules of the game. I think this one we've already answered, and none of the above. Which state in the 20th century switched from bicameral to unicameral legislative system? And the answer is Turkey. Turkey. So in the 20th century, the states that switched from the bicameral to unicameral is what? Is Turkey. 23 says that the structure of the legislature determines the number of houses the legislature has, which is A. 24. What type of input does the public present to the legislature during committee meetings? And then this is called memorandum. The answer is A. 25. Legal disputes are broadly categorized into B. Civil and criminal. Civil and criminal. Where the criminal case acts of is about prohibited by the state, uh, punished by or you're punishable by what by law. So looking at 26, which party emphasized on quality of its membership? This has to do with what the elite. A. 27. Second chamber has the advantage of what? Of passing bills into law. Uh, second chamber has the advantage of, and then there's a space. A. Passing bills into. So the answer over here is B. Protecting minority interest in the federation. 28. Which of the following which of the following which of the following below is a non-political executive? And the answer has to do with chief director. C. In Britain, the lifespan of parliament in theory is the lifespan of parliament in theory in Britain has to do is what? Is 5 years. 5 years. Then question number 30. The former South Africa tri-cameral legislature system house the people, the following groups of people, except the white, house the whites, the people of mixed race, except the red Indians. So the answer is C, the red Indians. Then question number 31. Formal institutions differ from informal institutions on the grounds of B. Its provisions and power are enshrined in the Constitution. So you know that for every formal institution, the laws and the rules are known because it's already written down. Then 32. Which of these scholars define institution as as a what stable cluster of values? And the answer is A. Robertson. 33. Which of these two pairs of scholars argue that institutions are being shaped by long-term human experience? And the answer is C. The answer is C. Then 34. The low revenue generated from the implementation of the e-levy law in Ghana in 2024 is linked to the low 24. The low revenue generated from the implementation of the e-levy is linked to feedback. So in Ghana, in 2024, the government of the Republic of Ghana then introduced a levy called e-levy, which is an electronic levy, which was supposed to tax people in terms of mobile transaction and other transactions that are electronic in relation to money. With this particular taxation being introduced, there were a lot of agitation from different quarters about it. It started from being 1.75, and then government had to come and reduce to 1.5. But the target of government was not able to be reached because most people were not pleased with it. So in the system theory, if government wants to know people are pleased or not pleased, the feedback is what will determine if people are actually okay with that particular law or are not okay with that particular law. So I'll put this under what? Under feedback. Under feedback. Question number 25. Which pair of scholars are the proponents of what? Normative theory. And then the answer is C. The answer is C. 36. The acts of citizens to pay their tax can best be said to be their support. As I said earlier, so when citizens paying their tax, abiding by rules and are all part of what their support. 37. Recognition of the incumbent government as the legitimate authority from the general population can be located within which part of the system theory? This can be located within the support. So when people accept that this is our government, that is it. It's also a support. They are supporting the government, giving the confidence to be able to do things and act on their behalf. 38. To Gabriel, output in the political system can be classified into four. How into 4, which is uh, rule making, rule application, rule adjudication, and political communication. 39. How many variables did Gable postulate input into? This was what? 4. And then what is a system? What's a system? The answer is what? Is A. It is a set of elements working together to what? Produce a function. Question number 41. Question number 41. Which institution in the US tries all impeachment and has to do with the Senate? Which of the houses of parliament serves a platform for what? Conversational legislation? Sorry, controversial legislation. It has to do with the second chamber. The second chamber. 43. Formal ending of a session of a legislature is called promulgation. A. Promulgation. 44. Commission of Inquiry in Ghana has the power of what? A high court. 45. In Iceland and Germany, members of the two lower house are appointed for a period of 5 and 4 years respectively. That's it. And then which of the motions below is associated with what? The legislature has to do with censor. Censor. So this censor is what? As a motion that's associated with the word legislature. It is used to express disapproval or lack of confidence in government or the minister. So you remember that in Ghana, for the first time, a censor was triggered where the finance minister was actually a process was triggered to censor the finance minister, but it didn't actually pass. But that's one of what we call a censor. 47. Which of the following state does not select the upper house members through direct election? And the answer over here is France. The answer is France. So the Senate is not directly elected. Senates are chosen by what? The Electoral College of local officials. Then the question number 48. Which act established the supremacy of British House of Commons? That is the word B. Parliament Act of 1911. Question number 49. Under lawmaking, a session is with what? Recess, and the answer over here is what? Adjournment. D. Adjournment. Adjournment. Question number 50. The supervisory role of the executive does not include D. Any of the above, because the supervisory role of the executive does not include approval of ministerial approval for ministers are by parliament. Approval of budget is by parliament, and approval of foreign loans is by parliament in the Ghanaian context. So these are the answers to question number 1 to 50 that we've pondered over. And as I've shown you the book, and I've also shown you some existing literature that you guys can also look at. These are also try questions. Try your hands on them. So question number 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56 to 60, which I've not provided any answer, and I'm not going to provide any answer. It will just help you to be able to also engage yourself with existing literature, with materials. As you keep on trying to solve these particular questions, you open literature and you read them, and you're able to get more insight. As you're able to do this and you open the book Understanding Political Institution, you get a copy to buy, or you order online. You are able to what? Engage yourself with these questions and be able to what? Answer them yourself, and build your confidence what? Level as you engage these materials, and you also get acquainted with a lot of concepts as and when you solve this particular question. Once again, I will say please kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave your comments. If there are other topics that you're interested in, you want us to deal with, you can also send an email to kfosu0707@gmail.com, and then we'll respond as soon as possible and see how best we can help you. for those who came up with this particular request for us to deal with it. I hope we've done our best. Thank you very much. And there will be a part 2 and a part 3 of this, which is another set of 50 questions plus 10 for you to try your hands on it. So another set of another 50 plus 10. So in all, you'll be looking at a total of 100 and what? 80 questions in total. Thank you very much for your time. And please don't forget to subscribe.